Tuesday might be the day former President Donald Trump could earn enough delegates to claim the Republican nomination for president. And Georgia is one of 4 states holding primaries on Tuesday. Both Trump and President Biden have recently campaigned in the battleground state, which is poised to play a pivotal role during the general election. CBS News campaign reporters Olivia, Rinaldi, and Taurean join us now. Thank you both for being here. Taurean, we'll begin with you. You are on the road right now. President Biden, former President Trump, both in Georgia. Such a battleground state. What's the latest?
Yeah, this isn't the first time we've seen dueling campaign events on the same day in the same state. This also happened last month when both went to the border to have competing events there. But what we've seen, though, is really a shift, an unofficial shift, if you will, from the primary to the general election. Biden has been focusing his efforts on rebuilding that crucial coalition that helped him make it across the finish line in 2020. Crucial battlegrounds like Georgia was part of that. Fewer than 12,000 voters helped him not just win the state, but ultimately the presidency. But that's his biggest challenge this time around, because he's not only facing opposition and inspiring those same voters to come out this time around, he's also looking at a protest vote movement happening on the ballot as well. We've seen it happen in Michigan, where about 100,000 voters there voted uncommitted. And then also in states, unsuspecting states like North Carolina, 80,000 voters there. I talked to folks out here who say they're looking for something similar, but around that 12,000 mark to really scare Biden into compromising his position on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Last thing I want to point out is on re-inspiring these folks. I talked to many Biden surrogates who say, while the president has done a lot policy-wise for people who are most impacted here in Georgia, that base, the Biden administration has done a bad job at messaging. Take a listen to what Atlanta Mayor Dickens had to say when I talked to him this weekend.
They haven't done a good job of marketing the successes of this administration. They have to go talk straight to the voters, talk straight to the people about the things that they benefited from. We've got folks taking credit for stuff that they've instrumented, and so we have to show the facts. And so that's what Joe and Kamala are going across the country doing over the next month and carrying it all the way to Election Day.
That sentiment was echoed by supporters at the Biden event I attended and grassroots organizers who were doing some heavy lifting for the Biden campaign. They were out door knocking. Their plan is to get to 5 million households to get them to join into or vote in this election come November.
Thanks for that report, Taurean. Stay with us. Olivia, Rinaldi here at the table. You've been on the road in recent days covering Georgia, covering former President Trump. We just heard about how the Biden surrogates see a lot of this. Well, what about some of the voters? Georgia, in particular, is a complicated state, traditionally Republican in recent decades, but now has 2 Democratic senators. What's the Trump campaign doing to try to win back some of those voters who maybe went Democratic in the last 4 or 5 years? And what are voters telling you?
Yeah, Bob, it's an excellent question. I mean, I was there over the weekend. Trump was holding a rally at the same time Biden was. Trump was in a very ruby red district, though. He was in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, really speaking to his base and invigorating them. But he also, during his speech, spoke to Black voters, Hispanic voters, and union voters, and said to them, I have done more for you as president than Biden has. And in fact said to Black voters, I have done more for you than Abraham Lincoln has. I mean, that's an astounding claim to make, but then he was talking about the jobs that he's created. But that message is actually resonating with some voters. I spoke to Jeremiah Hicks. He's a Black voter in Georgia. He's a union worker, and he voted for Trump twice, 2016 and 2020. Take a listen to what he told me about why he's supporting Trump over Biden.
A lot of people, especially melanated Black people, see the difference now. They try to paint him as a racist, but we can see through the BS now, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good guy because he's not really doing anything for us. He's more misleading. And Trump is straightforward. He's going to tell you how he feels, whether you got to like it or not, you know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, man up, change what you're doing, you know? And other than that, you know, Biden, he pretty much pacifies you and tell you it's going to be all right, but it's never all right.
Now, that's just one voter, but it's reflective of this broader sentiment among Black Americans. That's the coalition that Biden desperately needs to hold together to re-win in November. But that's starting to chip away a little bit. Trump is chipping away at that. We're starting to see some of those voters go over to his base. It's something very interesting we're watching.
We'll keep watching all of this. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we hope you both come back soon to America Decides. Olivia, Rinaldi, and Taurean Small, two terrific reporters. Thank you very much.